A wandering monk in search of a way is a background story of Swami Vivekananda. Let's start. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna in August 1886, Swami Vivekananda spent several years in intense spiritual practices. First in the newly established Ramakrishna monastery at Bangalore and later at other places, such as the plains of northern India and the Himalayas. He often wanted to enter the deepest Indian forest to lose himself in the silent meditation. But every time some obstacles or other, sometimes the sickness of a brother monk, sometimes the death of a devotee brought him back to a society. Beset with thousands and one miseries, he gradually realized that he was not meant to live the life of an ordinary recluse, struggling for personal salvation. He was destined to work for the divine mission entrusted to him by his master, Sri Ramakrishna. The master had told him before his passing away that he would have to do mother's work, to teach mankind, and to be like a banyan tree, giving shelter to the tired, weary travelers. At this time, he felt an inner urge to wander along over the length and breadth of India in search of a plan of actions to follow. In January 1891, leaving the company of his brother's monks, he wandered from place to place alone with God. At first, he traveled in the north and later he went to the south. All the while studying closely the life of the people in every class of society, he was deeply moved by this experience. He wept to see the stagnant life of Indian masses crushed down by ignorance and poverty, and was disturbed by the spell of materialistic ideas. He noticed among the educated who blindly imitated the glamour of the West, he saw the spirituality was at low ebb in the land of its birth. The picture of ancient India appeared before his eyes vividly in all its grandeur and glory, and the contrast was unbearable. India should not be allowed to drift this way. He visualized that India must become dynamic in all spheres of human activity and spiritualize the life of her own children as well as all mankind. He felt that he was the instrument chosen by the Lord to bring about this change. Some enlightened people in different parts of India had previously advised Swamiji to go to the West and where his interpretations of Hinduism might be properly appreciated. At first, Swamiji did not pay much attention to them, but when he later heard about the Parliament of Religions, which was to be held in Chicago in 1893, he expressed his desire to attend it, thinking that it might help him in carrying out his divine mission. In the last lap of his journey, he came to Kanyakumari, where, sitting on the prominent rock just off the main coast, he reviewed his experiences during his wandering and meditated deeply on India, her past, present, and future, the cause of her downfall, and the means for his resurrections. All this flashed through his mind, and he took the momentous decision to go to the West to raise fund for the uplift of the Indian masses. In exchange, he decided He would keep the rich spiritual treasure that India had accumulated through the centuries and that he himself had inherited from his master. With this decision, he returned to the mainland. But still, he was not sure whether the plan was in accordance with the divine will. He prayed for days together to all to the mother and to his master for guidance. Shortly afterwards, a symbolic dream convinced him that he had the needed divine command. He saw the figure of Sri Ramakrishna walking from the seashore into the ocean, beckoning him to follow further Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, to whom he had written earlier, sent her consent and blessings. All doubts were now gone. He was determined to go. Finally, with the money collected by his young disciples by begging from door to door, as well as that given by Maharaja of Mysore, the Raja of Ramanand, and the Raja of Khetri, Swamiji sailed for America from Mumbai, then Bombay, on 31st May 1893.